Okay, out of 16 participants, 11 of you have raised up your hand. Hope so others will join for the session. And quickly we will start with our technical discussion. And in our previous session, we had connect with your GitHub issues and GitHub. And before that, we had a discussion about a day 3 topic, which was constructor and encapsulation. And I hope there are no doubts in it. Can I get a quick confirmation so that I'll move on to the next topic? People are clear with that, raise up your hands. Okay, great, good. So with that note, let me move on for the next topic, which is nothing but scanner class. Okay, so what is this scanner class? What is the use of it is what we are going to see it for the day, followed with your next topic. Okay, so now here, what is this scanner class? Have you guys come across with this name before? Yes, no. I want you to unmute and let me know.
For input statements, ma'am.
Okay, for input statements, what type of inputs?
User input.
User input. So whenever there is a requirement that you wanted to pass a dynamic input, what is dynamic input? Which is open or which you receive it from the user. You do not write a program for a single input which is static. Instead, the program will receive inputs and it is working or going to work for all different types of input which you give. That is your scanner class. I mean, how we will be able to achieve that with the help of your scanner class. Okay, so now let me go with the same project which we have created on day 3. I am creating a class inside the package, or else, yeah. So here I'll go creating scanner demo, which is your public static void main class, followed with you'll have a class. I am creating a class called a person. As I've already told you, you do not dump everything in a single class. You categorize your particular requirement. So here I'm creating a class called a scanner, and I'm also creating one more class called tax calculation, because we are going to understand the concept of scanner with the logic we write for your calculating your tax. I believe every one of you know what is tax calculation, right? Yes, no. Yes. So maybe not in a single line, I'll tell you. So every individual, every citizen of India, once he starts working, depending on his annual income or her annual income, they have to contribute. I mean, they have to pay some percentage of amount as a tax for the government. Okay, and there is a amount limit, I mean the annual income limit, and there are types of tax calculation, everything are there, and that will be decided by the finance department of the government. Okay, so now here similarly we are going to write a program which receives the person information and a class which gives me the logic for the tax calculation, and the class which is your public static, I mean the main class of your program. Okay, so now here we will start with your person. So generally, what all inputs we needed from the person is nothing but the name of the individual. So I'll say private string name. Okay, followed with I wanted to know the gender of the individual, and this is my requirement as I've already told you, and the age of the individual. So I'll say int age, the age of the individual, and the income which the person gets. So accordingly only the tax can be calculated, and the tax which I calculate, I wanted it to be stored in a variable. So I'll create one more variable called tax over here. Followed with, since all my variables are private in accessibility, I am generating getters and setters for that. So I'm selecting all and generating getters and setters over here. Done. So once I have generated getters and setters, followed with, I would also like to generate the toString method, because whenever I wanted to get the person details, I can just call the object reference so that it calls internally or it converts your input into the string format and gives me back the output. And I believe there are no doubts in your person class. Yes. Okay, great. Moving forward, I'm going to write the logic for the tax calculation. So for that, what I'll do is I'm going to create a method, and I'll give the accessibility as public void, and the name of the method would be calculate tax. Whenever I wanted to calculate a tax, then I wanted to know the complete individual information to calculate the tax. So the argument of your calculate tax method would be person input. Okay, now followed with, what am I going to do is I'm going to write the logic. I'm going to use if statement. So I'll say if the person's age, okay, since I have used P, I'll use this P. So I'll take person age, since it is a private accessible variable, I should rely on the getter. So if I say if the person age is greater than 65, and or if the person gender, okay, is going to be female. Now whenever I say person gender, there are scenarios in which all possible ways we can give input for gender. We can just give female completely or male completely, or we can give F to be capital, female completely uppercase and male completely uppercase, lowercase, or camel case, or you can go with alphabets alone. Alphabet it does not accept, since we have already told it is of string data type. So now to avoid the confusion, to avoid the issues or the problems, I will also call equals ignore case method. So what happens, whatever the input is received in the gender, that will be compared with the input which you give here. So for example, when I say female over here, if the input from the user, if female is uppercase, if the female is lowercase, or if the female is a camel case, that is ignored over here, because I have called the method called equals ignore case. I'm writing a condition if the person age is greater than 65 and the gender is going to be female. Okay, if the gender is female, then I will set the person's tax to be 0. This is my condition, and I'll say tax is not applicable. This is my logic. Now this is my if part. Now I'll write my else part. So what is my else condition? Again, I'm writing a nested if. I'll say if the person income is going to be less than or equal to 1,60,000, then I would like to say the person tax is going to be 0, irrespective of gender. Here, this condition, the age and gender limited or the restricted one or dependent one. The first condition inside my else if is nothing but if the income is going to be less than 1,60,000, then the tax is going to be 0. I'll give an else if condition. Else if, what I wanted to do, I wanted to give a condition. I will say if the person's income is greater than 1,60,000 and if the person income is less than or equal to 5 lakhs. Okay, if that is the case, I wanted to set the tax of that individual to be from the person's income. First of all, how many of you know the real-time tax calculation? Raise up your hand. Okay, so for example, right now the real-time tax calculation is like till if the candidate earns 7 lakhs per annum, there is no tax limit. Okay, there is no need of paying a tax. For example, we'll imagine the candidate is earning 7,50,000. Then for 7 lakhs, there is no tax at all. For the extra 50,000 alone, they have to calculate the percentage and pay the tax. If the candidate is earning, I mean, if the individual is earning 8 lakhs, then for 7 lakh, he need not pay. And for the extra 1 lakh alone, he have to pay the calculation. I mean, he have to pay the tax based on the calculation. This is how the basic tax will be calculated. I'm making you understand in a simple note. Similarly, I am telling if the tax is going to be, just give me a minute. Okay. Similarly, I am giving a condition if the person's income is greater than 1,60,000 and less than or equal to 5 lakhs. If there is anything somewhere between that, then the person income should be minused from 1,60,000 because till 1,60,000 it is 0 rupees to be paid. Correct. So from that it is minus and you pay 10% of your remaining amount. Is that clear? Yes, no? Am I audible? Clear. Okay, great. So there is some bracket issue which we have committed, I guess. Yeah, here I didn't give the extra bracket. Okay, done. Now similarly, I'm going to give another else if. I'm going to give an else if. Okay. What is that condition? If the person income, if the person income is greater than 5 lakhs and if the person's income is less than or equal to 8 lakhs. Okay, then I will set the tax of the individual to be from the income from the income we have to minus 5 lakhs because still 5 lakhs the calculation is done with the previous itself only. Okay, and then from that I would wish to say 20% of the amount added with constant of 34,000. Okay, all these numbers are my choice. You can just vary it and you can try it out. And finally, I'm going to give an else for the nested part. I'll say if they are not falling under either of the if else, then I'll directly set the tax of the individual to be from the income minus 8 lakh and from that 30% with the fixed amount of 94,000. Okay, so this is my choice of calculation. It's very simple. The if part is if the candidate, I mean the individual is a female and greater than 65 age, then no tax and tax are not applicable will be printed. If the individual, either of the gender, and earns less than or equal to 1,60,000, again 0 rupees to be paid. Then greater than 1,60,000 and equal to or less than or equal to 5 lakhs, in between of this range, then from the base value, then for the remaining amount alone 10%. For the other criteria, less than 5 lakhs, sorry, greater than 5 lakhs to less than or equal to 8 lakhs, from the next value of 5 lakhs till this 8 lakhs, whatever they earn, I reduce 5 lakhs from that, and for the extra amount alone, I calculate 20% of that, and I wanted to fix a fixed amount of 34,000. Similarly, for the final case, which is either of the previous one. Now this is done. If you guys are clear with this calculation, please do type clear in your chat. Okay, great. Now we'll see how to write this program. So here, as I have told, we are going to understand the concept of scanner with the help of this example of tax calculation. So how do you make use of your scanner is nothing but scanner is a predefined class. So whenever you wanted to use a class, then you wanted to create an object of it. So I'll say scanner SC is equal to new scanner, and I'm going to receive input from scanner from system, I mean through your keypads. So it is system.in. What is the system? You're going to receive input from the system. So IN stands for input and system is the class system from, I mean through the system. And if I want to make use, I have to get the permission, which is under your util package. I've got the permission. Now I have to get the person information. That is why I have created your scanner. So first, maybe go in the order. What was your first input? Name. So you have to receive name. So I'll say enter your name. And I will say SC dot. Okay, before we go with this, so scanner is a class which helps us to receive the inputs from the user, agreed. But we might, or the user might send all different types of inputs. He or she can send an integer or float or a double or a string or a character. Let it be anything. How will you inform the user that he or she has to send only the expected data type, depending on the method we use? And even the compiler will make sure that it receives only the specific type. So we have method called next, which helps us to receive the inputs. In case if you wanted to receive integer input, then you say next int. In case if you wanted to receive a float input, next you say float, next float. In case if you wanted to receive a double input, you say next double. Basically, next is the term fixed, followed with, depending on your data type, the data type name will be given. Okay, next double. Only for string, we have two options. Either you can go with next or you can go with next line. What is the difference to next and next line? Does anyone know? When do we use next and when do we use next line? Okay, now tell me, does your gender will receive how many types of input? I mean, how many words in it? Everyone know what is a word, right? So when I ask gender, not the type of your input, how many words I'm asking you. That is why I asked, do you know what's a word? Okay, I do not want the number of characters or the size of your input, nothing. How many words you get?
One word.
One word, right? When I ask what's your college name, how many words of answer you might give?
Multiple words.
More than one words. When I ask your department name,
One.
department name, not the short form. See, officially we should not use short form. So more than one words. When I ask your name,
More than one.
more than one or one, it depends on the name of the individual, right? So when do you use next method is whenever you feel the input which the user gives or the input type. I mean, for example, if it is gender, it is very obvious. We are 100% sure that you receive one word of input only. Then you go using next method. When I ask the user to enter user's name, there are chances for more than one word. There are chances for a single word. Then in that case, please go using next line. So next method should be used only when the input is only one word. Next line is a method to be used whenever you feel the input will be more than one words or maybe more than one words. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So this is about your usage. Whatever other data type you get, just next is your fixed term followed with your data type. Now your name. Name will be of which method should I use? Name should take which method? Next line, because there are chances you end up giving me more than one name. In case if I say enter your first name, then what will be your answer?
Next.
Next. Okay, so accordingly you have to take a call. So here I'll say sc dot next. Since I have given first name to be entered as my message, and I would like to store in a variable. Okay, next, again, what is my next input? It is my gender. So enter your gender. So it is going to be of a single input. So next method is next. You have age. So I will say enter your age, and it is of integer type. I'll say age, and for integer it is next int. Next, what do you have? You have income, which is of int again. So here I have to go enter your income, and I'll say income, and again next int. And tax should we give the tax input or it should be calculated? Yeah, I didn't get any response. Guys, please get used to the habit of unmuting and answer. Calculated. It should be calculated, right? So I'm not going to receive the inputs from the user. So once this is done, now tell me if I wanted to pass all the inputs which I've received from the user as an input for the person, what should I do first? Should I create an object? Only then I can initialize the values of my person class. Yes or no? I hope the question is clear. Now I have received the inputs from the user. Now I have to set the inputs received as a value initialized for your variable of your person class. So for that, what should I do? I have to create an object for the person. So I'll say person p is equal to new person. And then I would like to say set the name to be the name and set the gender to be gender, whichever is stored in this variable. Set the age to be age. Set the income to be income. Right? So these are the things which I want to set it. Now, when I want to calculate the tax, what should I do? I wanted to call the method called calculate tax, which is inside your tax calculation. Since it is a non-static method, I have to create object of this tax calculation also. So here, I'll say tax calculation TC is equal to new tax calculation. Then I'll call the calculate tax method by passing this person information, that is by P over here. Okay, now before that, before calculating the tax, I would like to print the person details. After calculating the tax, maybe I'll give a heading also. Before tax calculation, and here I will say after tax calculation, I would like to print the person information. Okay, now it's you going to give me the inputs of the user so that it is going to calculate the tax. Okay, when I run the program, you get an input, enter your first name. Anyone can give your inputs or give inputs of your choice. First name. No one would wish to give. Rakshit. Okay, Rakshit, you can unmute and tell me the inputs. First name, Rakshit. Gender to be, sorry, male. Next, age.
21.
21. Okay. Income, what would you like to give?
Per month, ma'am.
No, it's for an annual income.
At 10.
Okay. Done. Now, what do you think? What would be the tax? It's a question for everyone. What would be the tax calculated for the inputs which we have given? Maybe I'll go for the tax calculation logic. Have a look and tell me. Use your calculators. Do a calculation and tell me, not a problem. You can use your chat box to drop your answers. So the income is nothing but 10 lakhs per annum. So in that case, what would be the tax to be paid? Okay, I'll proceed once I get an answer.
I think it's 1 lakh.
Okay, 1 lakh to be paid. Okay, others? Okay, Pratik says it's 1,54,000. Okay. Okay, now let's run the code and check it out. I'm going to tap enter so that here you get an answer. So the person's income is 10 lakh. So the tax to be paid before the calculation was 0, and after the tax calculation it is 1,54,000. And which part of your logic worked for this particular income? Can someone tell me the line number? Tell me the line number 20. Okay, so now if I run the same program for another time, now I can calculate another another individual's tax to be paid. Right now we calculated Rakshit's info. Now in case if you wanted to calculate for another individual of this class or another individual of this particular database, you can enter it. That is the advantage of your scanner. A class which helps us to receive the inputs from the user, and accordingly you can calculate your information. Is that clear? Yes, people are clear. Please type clear quickly.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Rakshit.
Ma'am, a class which takes input from the user is what is a scanner class, right?
Yes, the class which is used to take inputs from the user, or which helps us to take input from the user.
So basically the entire, like whatever codes we write, like whatever we did, so everything was a scanner class?
Yeah, you are receiving input. Instead of telling set name, I say directly here Rakshit, and if I say age, gender to be male and age to be 21, income to be 10 lakhs. Now what happens whenever I run this program, it always, okay, let's comment all this line. Okay, now what happens whenever I run this code, I will always get the input or the output with respect to the only one candidate. Now if I wanted to calculate for the other individual, other candidate, then I have to manually change this code. That is your staff right now. If you want to write single program and use it for multiple inputs, then you go using scanner class. Now what happens? You don't that input I pass here. Similarly for gender, age, and income. This is dynamic way of writing a program.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other doubts for anyone? No. Okay. So with this note, here comes the scanner concept understanding. Now we'll move on for the next one, which is nothing but your packages. Now you guys tell me, what is your understanding on packages? What is the need for package, or what is the use for package? Okay, have you guys came across with a technical term called package before?
No,
Yes,
it's like,
no? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
tell me, Rakshit.
Ma'am, it's like predefined codes which are already present, and like only if we like if you want to do addition or subtraction, any arithmetic operations,
Mm.
So we just write a code and call the package which is locally saved or somewhere in the server.
Okay, great, good. So package is nothing but yes, whatever Rakshit added, yes, right. It is only one side of the understanding. So I'll tell you, simple understanding is package is nothing but the folder which we creates in our laptop. We used to create folders in our laptop, folders in our mobile. Have you guys done that? Yes, no? Yes. Now tell me, whenever you receive your laptop or whenever you receive your mobile, will there be any predefined folder? For example, if you take laptop, obviously you will have a folder of download, you'll have a folder of document, pictures, videos, and you'll have this predefined folder. And similarly, when it comes to your mobile also, there will be some predefined folders. Yes? Great. So how do we have a predefined folder, and we can also create a user defined folder? Similarly, we have predefined packages and user defined packages also. Now, what is the use of your packages? Again, going back, what is the use of your folder? Why do we create folders, or why is it folder created? To maintain the records in a proper manner, organized manner. For that only we have an option of, we have a folder of documents where we keep all our documents into it, pictures where we keep all our pictures into it, and all your videos into it. It is helping us to categorize and organize your data. And similarly, why do we create our user defined folder is, inside the folder of pictures, you wanted to create another folder to categorize the memories of the pictures captured. For example, if you wanted to create a folder of a trip which you went last year, then you name the location, or name, you give some relevant name, and you keep all the pictures of that particular trip in that folder. And when you wanted to create, or when you wanted to organize all your birthday pics or some other graduation pics, if you want to categorize it, then you create a folder saying birthday pics or graduation pics, and you keep all the respective pics into that folder. Correct? Yes or no? Right? Similarly, in your technical concept also, to make sure you categorize your classes in a better manner. Now, going back to the Eclipse, now here we will consider the day 3 project only. Now, inside your day 3 project, what all classes you have, and tell me, is that a single concept class, or is it multiple concept classes? Inside your day 3, you have n number of classes. Tell me, is that a single concept or a multiple concept? Files, I mean classes. It's very simple actually. Multiple concepts. What are concepts? Can you tell me? What are the concept classes we have in day 3 project? If you couldn't, okay, I got an answer. Constructor, encapsulation, and scanner. Now, we are taking some time to have a look, process it, and come to a conclusion. Instead of that, if you would have created, okay, let me do a same thing. Okay, now here I will create a package, and I'll say com dot, I'll tell you what is the syntax or what is the rules for that. So I'll say com.cg.constructor. Now, I will move the respective classes of constructor to this particular package. Then it is easy for me to categorize. Over here, what I'll do, I'll create one more package, and I'll say com.cg.encapsulation. I'll create a package. Then I'll move the encapsulation classes to the respective package. Then I'll create one more package. I'll say com.cg.scanner class. And I'll keep the respective scanner classes inside my scanner package. Now, is it more easier than the previous one? When I open day 3, if I ask you, is it one concept project or multiple concept? Since you have 3 different packages, then you simply say multiple concepts. And if I ask just by looking into the package name is easy to, or else it is lesser than, it consumes less time than the previous scenario. Yes or no? How many of you agree with that? Right, that is the use of packages. Packages helps us to categorize the classes or the usages inside a single location. So it is easy for us to organize, it is easy for us to track it, and we can instruct others also. Someone asks you, can you tell me where is the concept of encapsulation in your Eclipse? You can just tell, if you open the Eclipse in your day 3 project, there is a package called scanner. There is a package called encapsulation. It's easy for them, or it's easy for us also to pass the instruction, right? That is the need for your package. Is everyone clear what is the package? What is the need of it? How to use it? Great. Now, how do you create your packages? It's very simple. As I've already told you, select the SRC folder, do a right click, go for new. You will have an option of package. You can select the package and it expects you to give a name for your package. Always give your name of your package in complete lowercase. That is a very first rule. Always you have to give your package name in complete lowercase. Secondly, there are some rules, but before that, have you guys noticed what is the extension of your college? Of your college website maybe, or your college email ID? What do you have? How does your college email ID looks? .com, good. So yes, edu.in, okay. So some institution have .com, some institution have .in. Have you guys noticed what is the extension of TNSIF? If not, I will look and tell you now. .org, correct? So depending on the organization for which you are working, or depending on the organization to which you belong, the extension will be varying. So accordingly, you have to start your package name. So right now you are under the project of Capgemini. So Capgemini's extension is .com. So I gave com. Okay, in case if I am going to create being in TNSIF, then I'll say org. If .in was your extension, then in . So to whichever organization you are working or you are belonging, or to whichever organization you do project, accordingly the extension should be given, followed with the name of your organization. Now I say TNSIF, but what was the complete name of my organization is TNS India Foundation. Okay. Similarly, when it comes to Capgemini, we used to say CG. It's a short form of Capgemini. When it comes to Accenture, we can say ACC alone. So, whichever short form we maintain, that's not a compulsion to be short form, but recommended to be short form. So, I gave CG because you are under Capgemini project. Followed with the purpose of your package creation. I created package for demonstrating constructors. I gave com.cg.constructor, com.cg.encapsulation, com.cg.scanner class. And this package I'm going to create to give a demonstration to you. So I'll give com.cg.demo. Is that clear? How do you name your package? Okay, great. So once you are done that, make sure this is disabled. You will have an option of create package info.java. It should be disabled. So once you had a check on that, give a finish, your package will be created. Now you could see a difference in color to the constructor encapsulation and scanner to demo. The reason is this is an empty package. The others are filled up with classes. So your empty package will be white in color and the package which has classes will be in kind of an yellow or sandal, whichever color you fix it to it, that colored one will be there. Is everyone clear with the introduction? Okay, great. Now, coming back to the types of packages. As you guys told, yes, we have predefined packages. We have user-defined packages. There are certain classes which are predefined. For example, when you say scanner class is one of your predefined class and it is inside your util package. So how do you get to know which package? Could you see I have created com.cg.scanner class. Could you see in a similar format? Only the name is changing here. Could you see a similar format but only the name is changing? Yes or no? Right. So now there is a class called scanner inside the java.util package. So util is one of your predefined package. So what is your task one for the day is you have to identify what all predefined packages we have in Java. Clear? Okay, great. Now coming to your user-defined package, I've already told you the need for it. But this is not the only need we have. There are some other needs also which helps or which makes us to create the packages. Okay, I'll tell you what's the other need. So the first need is you can reuse your classes. First, okay, we'll go in the order. You can easily access it, easily search it, have a track on it. The second one is you can reuse the class. For example, inside your demo, I'm creating a demo class which has public static void main. Now, here inside my demo package, I wanted to create a person class. Okay, so I wanted to create a person class. So in create a person class over here. I already have a person class. So instead of wasting the memory, I can use the person class in my scanner class package in my demo package also. How can I use it? Instead of creating a new class, I can simply start using it. I'll say person p is equal to new person. And you will get an error over here. Why? Because it says there is no person class inside the demo package, but instead, how do you get to know that? See here, person cannot be resolved to a type. Whenever you get cannot be resolved to be a type, it is not available. But instead, you get a quick fix. What was the first quick fix? What was the first one? First suggestion we have. You have an import suggestion. So instead of creating it, if you just get the permission of the scanner class package, you can use it. So you can reuse your classes. That was your second benefit. Clear? First benefit is easy to track. Second benefit is it is easy, reusability is possible. Again, make sure that class is reused within the same project. You cannot say, ma'am, I have a person in my day 2 and I'll use it in day 3. That is not possible. Okay, it should be within the same project. Now, what is your third benefit is it helps us to avoid the naming conflict. What is naming conflict? For example, now in your day 2, I already have a class called if demo. Now I would like to create another class with the same name, which is if demo. It shows me an error. Type already exists. It tells me an error that the class is already, the name which you would like to keep for the current class is already assigned to some other class in a similar location. This is something similar to what? Sorry, just give me a minute. Okay, so this is something similar to our real-time scenario. Now tell me, inside a folder, can you save more than one file with the same name? Yes, no? I hope the question is clear. In your laptop, in your documents folder, you have a folder for C2TC program. So inside C2TC program, can you save more than one document with the same name? No, it is not possible. What would be, in case if you try doing it, what would be the suggestion it gives you? It tells you, should you want to replace it? Do you want to replace the file with this name? You get a pop-up window, right? Yes, similarly, that is naming conflict, okay? Similarly, when you try creating more than one class with a similar name in a package, it ends up giving you an error, okay? Now, similarly, but when you go with your package creation, it is not possible. See here, I am able to create person class I have in my day 3 project. Again, I have person class inside my day 3 project. But if I have packages categorized into it, it is helping me to do it. Why? You may ask me, ma'am, we can reuse it, right? Why do I want to create it again? Because my requirement is I do not want all these informations. I want informations like the ID, the Aadhaar ID of the candidate. I wanted to know the name of the candidate. I wanted to know maybe date of birth. I'll say string. Date of birth of the candidate. If this is my requirement, can I reuse this person class? Or should I want to go with a new class? What do you think? Only if the requirement matches, I can reuse the classes, right? If not, I should obviously go for a new class. In that case, if I do not categorize it into packages, it is not possible. I know having a same name, if I'm voluntarily trying to create another class with the same name, there is a reason behind it. And that can be achieved only if you categorizes your project files with packages. That is your third usage. Avoid naming conflict. Clear? Okay, great. Now the next most important thing is when you work with different accessibility. Now what happens? So here I'm giving private. Okay. Now similarly I can give other 3 different access modifier we have. So if you wanted to be protected, to be safe and also to be used. So this packages helps us to get permission. For example, now we are using Aadhaar ID, which is private. Okay, now when I use it in demo, and I say p dot get age. Okay, now I'm able to use it with getter. But in case if I say this is going to be protected, can I use it directly? And I say p dot get age. So what happens is it's not only about the getter usage, it's about the accessibility. To make it very simple, when we have a discussion about access modifier, you'll understand better. We do protect our mobile phones with the password. But when someone who you consider to be a trustworthy, you tell the password to them or you unlock your mobile and give to them, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, something similar. So if you wanted to protect your particular accessibility, but also it can be shared across. So to make that also possible, this packages and access modifier work in a collaboration. So that we'll discuss in our next session, where we have a discussion about access modifier. One last thing which I wanted to tell you is, now I told you reuse of class is possible. Okay, I'll delete this person class. Reuse of the class is possible. So in which all ways I can reuse it? The first way is writing the import statement. Yes, right. When you go with the suggestion, it always ends up giving you this format only. What is this format? com.cg.scanner class is your package name and person is one of the class inside your scanner class. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Similarly, in case, let's imagine inside your scanner class, you are having employee class. Okay. In case if you wanted to create object of employee, also, I'll say employee is equal to new employee. Now what happens? Again for employee, it will give me suggestion of import. When I go with that, it says under com.cg.scanner class employee, com.cg.scanner class person. This is first possible way of accessing your different classes in a different package. Now what is the other possibility? This is your possibility 1. I'll give a comment and I'll say 1. Okay, what is the other possibility is, instead of getting the accessibility for each and every when I give this star, automatically both the classes are permitted. Could you see the difference? When I comment this line, it expects me to get permission for both person and employee. When I write this line number 5, my permission for both person and employee is provided. So star indicates whatever classes you have inside the package, the previously mentioned package, permission is given for all the classes. Clear? This is a second possible way of reusing it. I mean, getting the accessibility. Now, what if I do not wanted to do this also? Then there is a third possibility, which is nothing but fully qualified name. What is fully qualified name? Whenever you are using a class, you don't just tell the name. Instead, you tell the full name. What is a full name? Under com.cg.scanner class, there is a class called person. I try using it. Again, similarly, in the other end, you use it. So that you get your, okay, person, P is uppercase. This is fully qualified name. Clear? Whenever you are trying to get the permission or reuse a class, then you give the full name at the place of your usage. Then this is nothing but your third option, which is using fully qualified name. Here there are 3 ways in which you can use it. So here comes the end of your concept of packages. Packages, what is the need? What is the package? What is the type? What is the benefits? And how it can be used. You should have an answer for all these 5 questions so that you are having a good understanding on the concept of packages. And here I am winding up. The task, the only task which I have given you is to find out what all predefined packages in Java. That alone completed and join for the session tomorrow. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, Please do raise up your hands and get your doubts clarified.